Hello there, I'm Chef Johnny and this is Texas Style Cuisine. Tonight we're breaking out the cast iron again. I got my number 8 Griswold pan. We're going to drop it in the oven and make us some fantastic cornbread. First thing I'm going to do is take my cast iron skillet. I'm going to set it in a 425 degree oven. While I'm mixing the batter, this skillet's going to be heating up. The recipe we're using tonight, same recipe my wife's been using for 32 years. And she got it in a cookbook right here, Better Homes and Gardens cookbook. We were given that as a wedding gift from my cousin Gayle.
Okay, so we're going to follow the recipe in this cookbook tonight, and this is my cornbread that we make. My mom and I always argue about whether cornbread from the South should have sugar or not, and it probably shouldn't, but ours does. So I think it tastes better. And my daddy always agreed with me, so that's the one we're going to use. Okay, we're going to start by adding a cup of flour.
Cup of yellow cornmeal. We have some salt. So we're going to go about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. 2 tablespoons of Rumsford baking powder. We use Rumsford. It does not contain any aluminum. So we like using it. It doesn't last quite as long on the shelf, but no aluminum. So 2 tablespoons.
Then we also have 1/4 cup of just sugar.
And all my family always had sugar in theirs, and they were all from the South too. So Southern people did use sugar. I've already got the salt in there.
Okay. Okay.
So we've got that.
Right,
I'm going to mix these ingredients together. Now we're going to get in our wet ingredients. First thing is going to be is 2 eggs. And we're going to whisk these together first. That's what the recipe calls for. We don't always do that. But recipe calls for it. Let's give it a try. Sometimes we just drop them in there and stir them in as we go. Eggs are whisked good. Can you give me a cup of milk in here? And some cooking oil.
1/4 cup.
Yes, ma'am. 1/4 cup. Just gonna stir this together. Doesn't have to be perfectly mixed. Bring our mixing bowl back.
Okay, you add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients, and then stir just until mixed.
You don't want to over stir. If you do, that's going to start toughening up your cornbread.
And then you want to just let the cornbread sit for just a few minutes.
And we have that frying pan in our oven, so we're going to be getting it out here in just a second. It's going to be nice and hot. It has a little oil in it, so the cornbread doesn't want to stick. But we're going to bring it out and get this in there. Have our hot skillet.
And if you'll notice, this cornbread has risen a little bit.
Starting to rise. That's our double acting baking powder. So it rises from moisture and from heat. So we're going to drop our cornbread in this hot skillet. You could barely hear it sizzling. I remember my mom setting it just on the stove first, and she'd heat it up, and boy, you could hear that cornbread a sizzling. I mean, the batter sizzling as soon as it hit that skillet. And this should take us about 15 minutes to cook. Just level the batter out in here. That looks like it is ready to go in the oven. What do you think?
Looks pretty.
Like it?
Ready to eat it.
Put it in the oven, about 12 to 15 minutes, it should be ready. This is like our cornbread's ready. Let's check it out.
That's pretty. Better check the center.
That cornbread is looking pretty. Let me get a knife to check it with. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my knife, put it right in the center, pulls out clean. We know that cornbread's ready. Looks good. The other clue we'll have is if you can see right here is this cornbread is starting to pull away from the side. So that all looks good. And question is, how's the bottom look? But we're gonna let it cool off a little bit. It's gonna have a crispy bottom doing it this way. Gives you a nice crunch down there. Just don't want to burn it. But that's nice, it's loose in that pan. So I tell you what, actually it's not gonna fall out. I'm gonna flip this over and we're gonna see how that bottom looks. So I'm gonna take my plate here, just flip my cornbread over. Ooh, and look at that pretty bottom on it. That is exactly what we wanted. That is a beautiful, beautiful color. Take it back over. That is some pretty cornbread. Now all we need is a little bit of butter, and we're gonna give this a try. Oh, butter showed up. Wife already had it out for me. See if we can slice this cornbread. Cut us out a nice big slice of this. Ooh, would you look at that? Open this up. That is beautiful. Cooked just right. Now you see why we use that recipe. Put some nice butter on there to melt. Cover it back up again, let it start melting. Then we will give this cornbread a try. Our butter's melted on here. We're going to give it a try and see how it tastes. We have the official taster here. She's going to see how it turned out herself. Although she's had it many a time.
Yeah, don't let him fool you. I've already been eating it.
That wasn't her first bite. Looks good. Tastes good. Thumbs up on this one. Thanks for stopping by Texas Style Cuisine. Always do appreciate it. Remember to tell your friends and family about us. Hit the subscribe button. And we're going to see you down the road on Texas Style Barbecue and Cuisine.
How them boys put food away beats all I've ever seen.